Okay, so welcome back everyone. Today's question name is count sub-arrays with given XOR. So this is the same question as we did yesterday. Like yesterday question was sub-arrays with some k, and here the question says you need to count the number of sub-arrays having XOR of their elements as k. These two questions has a prerequisite question of pair sum question, right? So again, coming back to this question, we need to count the number of subarrays having XOR of their elements equals to k, right? So such subarrays whose XOR of their particular or all the given elements in those subarray should be equals to k, right? So you can clearly see for this particular subarray XOR of 4 and 2 would be the given k, that is 6. So how the XOR works here? So when we have the same bits and we do the XOR of the same bits, then resultant is 0. When we have different bits, let's say 0s or 1 or 1s or 0, then the resultant is a set bit, right? So let us verify for this if 4s or 2 is equals to given k or not. So this is your 4, this is your 2. If you do the XOR, 0 0 will give you 0, 0 1 will give us 1, and 1 0 will give us 1, which is nothing but this is 6, right? So we need to count uh, number of such sub arrays, right? So first approach, we're gonna do the same thing, that we will count, we will make number of all sub arrays, right? All possible sub arrays, and then we will just increment the count for such possibility. That is, for some here and some will not, let's name it a meaningful variable, that is a XOR, and here we will say that uh, XOR equals to 0, first of all, resetting it. And the changes we're going to do here is that we will go from I equals to 0, and for the nested for loop we'll go from j equals to I plus 1 till j less than n, and we will appoint our this the first element as the XOR in the XOR variable, and before moving itself of updating we'll just keep on checking कि अगर equals to k है तो answer plus plus, else we'll keep on updating it, right? Now you may be wondering कि why यहाँ पे क्यों लिखा, why we are doing the same redundant task here. The reason being कि in this nested for loop, right, we are first checking and then we are updating the XOR value. So for the last subarray, the subarray starting for I equals to 0 from 1 2 3 4 लेंगे तो जो last element होगा, right? Or basically what I'm saying is कि you have the subarray, the array as 4 2 2 6 4, right? For I equals to 0, what will happen? This 4 would be your array of I, right? And then it would be XOR with 2, then 2, and then 6, and then this 4. तो ये जो सब array बनेगा ना with the last element, ये हमारा last में check करने के लिए हमने we have made a specific check after the nested for loop, right? Hope that makes sense. ठीक है. Mm, that would be it for brute force technique, and we can hit the sum button for this code. But again, the TLE should be expected. It is 10 power 5, right? And the complexity which we are using is it is n square. So again, it's n square, and if you do the mathematical calculation, 10 power 5 square will give you 10 power 10, which is greater than 10 power 8, and that is why for some of the cases, or let's say the fewer cases, we'll get a TLE. So what is the optimized technique? It's again I said the prerequisite for this for both of these question is what is a pair sum question, right? These two questions are variation of this question. So in the yesterday's question, we are checking that how we check this one, the pair of it, right? We keep on summing the numbers in the contiguous thing, and then we are just checking if sum equals to k. That is, we have found one potential subarrays. We have started from 0, and let's say for this particular I, जहाँ पे ये true हुआ, so 0 to I is a potential subarray. That makes sense. That is very understandable. But what we are doing here is that we are checking a pair sum, right? अगर a plus b equals to c है, and we have already found a, right? So we are checking if k minus c is present in my app. That is my total sum minus k, right? So again, for this drawing, we can refer our previous video. Uh, it makes sense, right? And similarly, we will follow the same approach here, because we know one thing, that if A is or B is equals to C, then I can say you can interchange all these three values, right? And vice versa. So that means I can say B is or C is equals to A, and I can say C is or A is equals to B. You can verify this logic using, let's say, operators. So let's say 0 is or 1 is nothing but 1, right? I am changing the bit, so C has been mapped to 1, so C को यहाँ लिख देते हैं, and B has been mapped to 1, so 1 or 1 is 0, which was mapped to A, right? Correct. Again, C is or A. C क्या था वहाँ पे? C we have 1, and B we have C is or A, so, and a we have 0. अगर इसका हम XOR करेंगे तो answer would be 1, and 1 is nothing but map to b. So this follows, right? So we're going to use a hash map, correct? And let me just copy paste the same code which we did yesterday, and right. So this is how we solve a question here. We use the prerequisite bunch of question. We keep on revising the prerequisite questions, and then at last, we use that prerequisite question to solve the variations of it, right? So if you have still not known or have solved the prerequisite question, then definitely you can check out our playlist. And in our playlist, we have maintained topics. We have maintained question on all the different topics, starting from arrays, greedy stacks, queues, binary search trees, dynamic programming, recursion, and everything. Right? You can watch each and every topic playlist by playlist. And one more thing, that a new video we have made. mm Last year, or let's say the last day of our last year, in which I have shared my DSA 360 sheet. And this actually consists of 360 question, which I'm saying as a prerequisite question, and having those questions in your mind, always revising it, because it contains all the algorithms and everything, right? So having those in mind, you can tackle the new variations of it. Okay, let's just manipulate this code. So again, XOR equals to 0, and we'll start from here, and instead of sum plus equals to array of I, we're gonna just say that XOR uh, equals to array of I, right? And what else? We got the first value, first potential XOR value, and we'll just check that if my current XOR is equals to my given particular K, then I can say that we have found one potential answer, and we're gonna push this particular XOR into our map. That is map.put XOR comma map.get or default XOR comma 0 plus 1. And simultaneously we need to check if that rest of the pair is present. So what I'm saying is that first check I have made it for this one, A, right? First check I made for A, and this C was actually you're pointing to K. Now how you can find this B? Because you need to check the pair as well, right? कि अगर इसका pair present है in our previous entries, and the previous entries which we have stored in the hash map, right? And B का value क्या है यहाँ पे? B is nothing but we can get the B using C's or A, that is K's or our current sum, right? Or current XOR, whatever we say. Going back to our code thing, so we're gonna check here that if it is present as XOR, current XOR with K, this will give you your pair sum. If that is the case, then you need to get that frequency into your answer. So we're gonna get that here. Okay. Yep. So that's it for this question, and we can just hit the submit button. So what is the time and space complexity for this optimized technique? So we are using a hash map to store the XOR of the numbers. So in the worst case, we can assume that every day we'll get a unique number, and because hash map does not allow duplicacy, right? So we can, in the worst case, we can assume that O of n entries would be made in the hash map. So space as O of n, and time, we are using a for loop going from I equals to 0 to n. So that means O of n as your time complexity. Now n here stands for 10 power 5, right? Array dot size. And if you do a mathematical comparison, 10 power 5 is less than 10 power 8. And we are solving in O of n, right? So that means no TLE, and we are good to go. So that's it for this video. Do like, share, and subscribe if you have got help from this channel. And let's meet again in the next video. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. Bye bye, and take care.